Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Cinema Review. On today's episode, we're covering from 1984, Beverly Hills Cop.
An 80s classic and one of Eddie Murphy's finest.
Yeah, this is when I think Eddie Murphy is one of his main features that he just like jumped onto the scene with in 1984.
Yep.
So it was a cool flick. I hope you all get the chance to watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. We hope you're enjoying the show. Don't forget to leave that 5-star rating. Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you may be listening. You can leave us a written review on Apple. And sit back, relax, and enjoy Beverly Hills Cop. Hey, this is Dave.
Matt.
And Zap.
And welcome to the Vintage Cinema Review,
where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here.
Silence is golden. And be kind. Rewind.
Hey, fellas, happy spring.
What's going on?
Nothing much.
Winter.
Spring.
I miss you already.
No, spring has sprung. It's like light out at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And here comes the rain.
Yep.
Oh, it's April. We got about half a month. No, wait. Yeah, it's right around the corner.
April showers bring May flowers.
Yep. We got track, baseball, all that good stuff going on. So what movie we got today, fellas?
This is a movie featuring Eddie Murphy.
Mystery.
Murder mystery.
Yeah, no.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
The original. The
Fantastic.
first.
Yeah, 1984. Yeah, this one here, Beverly Hills Cop, was rated R. And runtime on this was 1 hour, 45 minutes. And release date, December 1st, 1984. It released in LA. And then the rest of the country and probably the world, December 5th, 1984.
See, I thought this was released later. Like as a kid, I remember seeing this, I think on like an HBO thing at like a cousin's house.
Like year-wise later?
Yeah.
Like 86, 87?
7, 88, something. I believe I was a little older.
And so to the tune of Matt, I didn't know anything about this movie until Beverly Hills Cop 2 came out. And Beverly Hills Cop 2, as far as I remember, was in the theaters forever. I mean, forever.
Is that the theme park one?
I can't say, you know what? Honestly, I can't say I've ever seen Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Where he like dresses up as the theme park character. I don't know if that was 2. Was there a 3? Because
there was a 3, and you know what? I don't remember 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Or there was a guy at work who was like, "You remember this scene?" I'm like, "I don't remember those movies. I'm sure I've seen them, but this is the one that I see over and over and over again. It's on, TV and whatnot."
Alas, it wasn't on TV when I was
looking for it
and needing to watch it for this podcast.
For $3.99, you can watch it.
You must be out of your mind.
I don't understand that either. Like a lot of the ones we get on a Vintage Cinema Review are all pay-per-view for the review.
It's Murphy's Law.
Yep. So this was directed by Martin Brest, screenplay by Daniel Petrie Jr., story by Danilo Bach and Daniel Petrie Jr., and produced by Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer. So that Don Simpson, I was thinking that was a guy from like BET. I don't know if you remember Donnie Simpson. He was like on...
I remember O.J. Simpson.
No, Donnie Simpson. There's a guy. I was like, oh, Donnie Simpson was on this? He was like a VJ on BET. Like he did like the countdown and all that.
It wasn't the rap thing though. He was like the...
No, I think it was like the soul.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Donnie Simpson.
Jazz.
Yeah, Donnie Simpson. He had them like the green eyes. He's just like, that's who I thought it was. I'm like, I didn't know he did movies, but not the same guy. Budget on this, $13 million. And box office, get ready for this, $316 million.
Ooh, God damn.
Is that one of the highest ones we have?
No. What was it? Batman was like 470 or something like that.
Yeah, but that Batman wasn't in 1984 either.
No, 89.
The return on investment on that is off the fucking chain. Like that's an insane return, man.
Yeah.
Clearly, the juice was worth the squeeze for this movie.
Wow.
Right, and there's a lot of cool fun facts in this, and I'm sure we'll get into them. But there's a whole lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's plenty of fun facts. People that you wouldn't think would be on this movie or try to direct this movie. Mm-hmm. Some really cool facts on this.
Yeah, this budget could have been a lot bigger, but I don't know that it would have mattered. But I don't know that it would have did this well if it was made the other way. But we'll get into that later.
We'll get into it.
Great soundtrack, also. Yeah. Like every song on this you could sing to.
Heck yeah,
big time. So the filming on this began on May 7th, like we said, 1984. It wrapped July 26th of 84. It was about 11 weeks of filming. And it was filmed in Detroit and Los Angeles, as I'm sure you could tell, watching it.
Where they show you in the very beginning,
Yeah,
Detroit.
Pretty much. So I guess that's it for that stuff. So Zab, you got the cast?
I sure do.
All right.
Big names.
Some very big names. Not sure whether they were that big at the time. Not all of them, but certainly at least one of them was.
You're right. There was a couple like hidden gems.
Oh, my goodness, yes. And so the first one, we've got Eddie Murphy as Detective Axel Foley.
That's my best Eddie Murphy impression.
His laugh. I wonder if that's his. Is that his actual laugh, or does he practice that for his roles? Like, did he just pick that up and say, "Oh, this could be a good catch laugh," and like a hook to bring somebody in that it's like my little moniker,
right?
Yeah, because he kind of started that on SNL, so that could have been like his little thing.
Could have been. Judge Reinhold as Detective William Billy Rosewood. John Ashton as Sergeant John Taggart. Lisa Eilbacher as Jeanette Jenny Summers.
Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Burkhoff as Victor Maitland. Ronnie Cox as Lieutenant Andrew Bogomil. James Russo as Mikey Tandino. Stephen Elliott as Chief Hubbard. Paul Reiser as Jeffrey. Jonathan Banks as Zach. Michael Champion as Casey. Frank Pesci as cigarette buyer. Gilbert Hill as Inspector Douglas Todd.
Was that Pesci or Pesci?
Pesci, like
Joe.
Like Joe.
It's funny because in
little brother.
Goodfellas, he was buying the cigarettes.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, it reminded me of that.
Yeah.
It's apparently a good part to have, or a necessary part.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Bronson Pinchot as Serge. And
Balky.
Yeah.
Good old Balky.
Balky Bartokomous.
Don't be ridiculous. And Damon Wayans as the Banana Man.
I give you a free banana. I can't even do the voice he did.
Just take it.
Just take it.
It's a free.
It's funny.
Just take the banana.
And that's all I've got for the star-studded cast in this fantastic movie.
I was saying like Reinhold, Reiser, Eddie Murphy, the Wayans brother. He became huge. So yeah, that's what. There were some big names in that weren't very well known at the time.
You got John Ashton. So as Sergeant John Taggart, he was Eric Stoltz's father in. Oh my God, what's that?
Mask?
No.
Rocky Dennis.
No, the one where it's not Say Anything. It's the one. It's the love movie with that woman where he ends up going after the McFly lady, but he really ends up falling in love with the drummer girl. Like the
Let's Say Anything.
Some Kind of Wonderful.
Some Kind of
Thank
Wonderful.
you. Some Kind of Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
All right. Yeah.
And Zap, I don't know if you watch Breaking Bad. You said you've never seen that.
Oh no! I've seen Breaking Bad.
Okay, Jonathan Banks was Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad. Remember Mike, the bald head guy?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, dude! I never put that together.
Yeah.
He had hair in.
Was.
Dude,
Yep.
he had hair in this movie.
Yep, that's him. He played the villain. You know what I mean? One of he was the one that actually killed
Mikey.
Mikey in the
That's correct.
In, the,
in this
hallway.
movie, his name is Zach.
Zach.
Yep.
Yes.
I did not even think of that.
Mhm.
I knew. I saw that face.
Mhm.
I definitely saw that face, and I said, "Man, I know that from someplace." But the hair completely threw me off.
It does throw you off. And
That was good.
yeah, I was
Good catch, man.
looking up the cast, and I'm like, I'm looking at the name and the same thing. I'm like, and then I looked it up, and the picture they put on like, websites, IMDb, and different things is from Breaking Bad. I'm like, oh, there he is.
That's the guy.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for the cast. So Matt, you got a brief synopsis?
I do. I do have the Beverly Hills Cop film synopsis. After his childhood buddy is murdered while visiting Detroit, rebellious cop Axel Foley, Eddie Murphy, follows the leads to Beverly Hills, California. Under the auspice of a vacation, he checks in with an old friend, Jenny Summers, Lisa Eilbacher, and starts to believe her boss, art dealer Victor Maitland, Stephen Burkhoff, might somehow be involved in the murder. However, Lieutenant Bogomil, Ronnie Cox, of the Beverly Hills Police Department does not trust Foley and hinders his search for evidence. Beverly Hills Cop.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the video to Axel F? Have you ever seen it?
The music video?
Yeah, the music video.
To the I didn't know they had a music video.
You remember, like every kid in America tried to play that. If you had a keyboard or a piano.
Of course, if you knew anything about keys, you wanted to play that song.
But anyway, I don't know who the guy was, but I saw it on VH1. One of the they play VH1 every so often on whatever weird channel, but it's like this weird music video. This guy is like playing this song, and like it's like these little cutouts of like the characters from the movie. Like I don't know if they got to like sign off on it or what. It's very
Interesting.
very strange. You guys should look it up. Anybody listening, look up that video. You'll get a good laugh out of it.
I have to look that up.
With you mentioning that, I think of the video for Herbie Hancock's Rocket.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of, but I obviously it's not the same. But
No.
Rocket was a great video too. Like he was actually a great jazz musician. If anybody listens to jazz, Herbie Hancock.
That had
smooth jazz.
Was that just a similar beat to this Axel Foley theme, or was that just taken from that?
No, Rocket was completely different.
Rocket was completely different.
Because it was similar a little
That was
bit.
boom,
Like
boom,
dun, dun,
boom,
dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you're right.
Like
Rocket.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
it was. Yep.
Axel F was a.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so it was similar. Yeah.
Is that what were the keys on that? It's like a EDF something.
The notes?
Yeah.
ASMR.
It might have been that.
Although I don't think those were the keys.
Maybe.
That's my ASMR impression.
So, Zab, you going to steer us through the old movie here?
Yeah. After we just got way the fuck off the tracks
That's
there.
okay.
Let's get back.
Hey, boy, don't be lying on the tracks.
Let's get back the fuck on.
Right.
So, Beverly Hills Cop, we begin with a montage of Detroit scenes.
Love montages.
Yes,
This had
you do.
about 4 or 5 of them in it, actually. Maybe 3 or 4.
There were at least 3.
Okay.
So we begin with this montage of Detroit scenes, playing to Glenn Fry's "The Heat Is On."
Mm-hmm.
First great song. Everybody sang to it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. In an illicit cigarette deal gone bad, and after an action-packed police chase, to the tune of "Neutron Dance" by the Pointer Sisters,
I'm just burning, doing the neutron dance.
Yeah.
where the police are in hot pursuit of the tractor trailer carrying the cigarettes with Eddie Murphy still in the back of the trailer, we're ultimately introduced to Detective Axel Foley,
Now, did
Eddie
you guys-
Murphy's character.
Sorry about that. You can repeat that.
No, go ahead. Jump in whenever you want, Matt.
Oh, I was just saying the stunt double in that was horrible. He had like his afro was like twice the size of Eddie Murphy's.
See, I thought I read he did most of the, but I guess there were a couple parts where he wasn't.
Yeah, it was a little rough there. That was like a 3-minute chase scene.
Mm-hmm.
So for anyone who hasn't seen this movie, please see this movie. You will see that the stuntman got the shit beat out of him riding in the back.
Yeah,
of his
hanging
tractor
onto
trailer.
a net or some sort
That
of
chain link.
chains.
Yeah.
So yeah, Eddie Murphy wasn't doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
Hell no, Eddie Murphy wasn't doing that.
Yeah, they beat up a lot of cars in that.
Oh, yeah, it took away. Yeah, like took half a street off like the map.
Yeah.
That was just it was a ridiculous 80s car chase.
Some of them neighborhoods though might have been an improvement. They were driving through. You know what I'm saying?
They helped out the whomever was
The
coming
economy.
Right.
whomever was coming in to do urban renewal to knock shit down.
Yeah.
That truck probably helped.
Took care. Yeah.
You know-
I mean that was like a rough looking area they were in Detroit.
Oh my God, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, hell, even back then, Detroit was a shithole.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, not anything to anybody listening in Detroit, but it is a rough city.
Oh, it is rough.
So to what I've seen or read about, I've not been there. But,
There's a guy on YouTube that does videos and stuff. He'll go around to different cities, and Detroit being one of them. You can buy like houses for like $1, but now you're required to fix them up. And I'm talking about nice houses that they just need rehab. But there's whole
but they're in neighborhoods that.
Well, they are, but they're neighborhoods that have potential.
Okay.
And if you get enough people that could buy these houses for like $1, and actually you're required then to rehab them. Like they're not. You could tell in its day these were like nice neighborhoods and nice houses and stuff. But that area of Detroit was rough looking where they were at for sure.
Oh my God, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole economics behind that concept of getting something for $1.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these places would have just gone the way of the dodo by virtue of sheriff sales.
Right.
So somebody who lives there isn't paying their property taxes or whatever, so the city reclaims it, or whomever, to whom taxes are owed. It's very similar to a bank when you have a mortgage. The last thing that the bank wants to be is a real estate owner. That's not their gig. Their gig is lending money. They don't want to be holding real estate. That's just not what they do. Similar concept to city government, county government, state government. They don't want to hold on to somebody's property that they walked away from. So how can we liquidate this and equally rehab the neighborhood?
Improve it, yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So flash sale or whatever they're called, sheriff sale.
Sheriff sale, yep. Well, sheriff sale takes it. It's just, how does somebody else purchase it? Anyways, so after that cigarette deal gone bad, back at the police station, we discover that Axel Foley went undercover for this cigarette deal on his own without authorization.
Which I didn't understand that whole scene. I did like his lieutenant, or the lieutenant guy was cool.
Yeah.
I dug his role.
He was a real life lieutenant.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, you can tell.
And I got a really cool side story about him that we'll get into in the fun facts.
Nice. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to mention this earlier. Fun fact with regard to that tractor trailer that they were driving around with the cigarettes while Eddie Murphy's stunt double was in the back getting the shit kicked out of him.
Right.
They had replaced the bumper on that with a steel I-beam.
Yep.
Just so that thing could plow through traffic. And I mean, really demolish parked cars, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, because it was picking up like 3-4 cars at a time.
I know.
Like it would have stopped that thing, and it was just crushing.
And in my mind, I'm watching it thinking, well, these cars are like old pieces of shit. But at the time, they're like new. Like at that time, they weren't pieces. I mean,
they were like an 84 Cutlass Sierra.
Yeah, it was like a newer car back then, and they're just ramming them off the road through these neighborhoods.
And don't forget that back then they were still making cars out of a shit ton of metal.
Oh yeah, so there's a lot of.
Yeah, there was no Saturns on the street.
Right.
Yeah, this was not fiberglass or pop off a panel to replace. This was a thing where you bang that dent out.
Yeah, there was a lot of weight on the street in two ways back then. You know what I'm saying?
I like.
Good one.
Yeah, I know what you did there.
Detroit, what?
Yeah.
So that chase caused a great deal of heat for Axel's boss, Inspector Douglas Todd.
The heat was on.
Indeed. Now, under threat of one more screw up and you're out, Axel goes home for the day to the tune of the famous Axel F instrumental.
Yep.
And he finds his apartment mysteriously unlocked with the door open. With his sidearm drawn, he's surprised to find his old friend, Mikey, waiting for him. Mikey is recently out of prison and shows Axel a sizable stack of German bearer bonds.
Which he quickly was like, "Did you steal those?" And his buddy's like, come on. And Eddie's like,
I don't want to know.
He's like, yeah, I just don't want to know, man.
Right.
Indeed. Not wanting to question too deeply as to where he'd obtained them, they go out to celebrate the reunion at a local bar. We discover that after his recent stint in prison, Mikey ended up working as a security guard in Beverly Hills for a mutual childhood friend, Jenny Summers. We also discover that when they were kids, Mikey and Axel committed grand theft auto together, and Mikey took the rap for it.
Because that was his buddy, man. Yeah.
He said, yep. Why'd you do that? Because I love you.
Yeah. No, those two you could tell were really close, and they had such a different
dynamic.
Yeah, dynamic. The one was a lifelong pretty much criminal, didn't know how to get out of it. Axel took another turn in life, wanted to stop the crime, even though they'd done stuff together.
That scene actually got laughs initially in test screenings
because they said I love you.
Because he said I love you, so they had to like recut it and do it in a way that like they were saying like this is not a joke, like he really means it. Like people took it home as a joke, like he was saying I love you, and the way I guess they cut it, it made it look like it was more sincere because they were like that's not the reaction we want. If you're laughing at this, the rest of the story is not gonna.
It's not gonna make any sense.
Yeah,
like
because this is like a vengeance.
They're joking
thing.
around. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's pretty good.
You got two very heterosexual dudes, and the one says, "Oh, I love you."
Yeah.
So you just cut the whole, the meaning of why he's saying.
Why he said it.
No, but it was like sincere though. It was like, dude, because I love. I mean, they grew up together. They were great friends, and like the same thing with this lady too. Is he's like, how the hell did you get a job being a security guard? Because you steal all kinds of shit, and it was like, oh, it's another mutual friend of theirs they grew up with,
right?
Which is cool to see.
Yeah. Well, upon returning to Axel's apartment, the two are taken by surprise by two men, Zach and Casey, who are there looking for Mikey and those bearer bonds. They knock Axel unconscious, and after a short confrontation with Mikey, they shoot him execution style in the back of the head, killing him instantly.
2 caps.
Yep.
That's right.
Pop.
That's exactly right. That night, as Axel's apartment has become a crime scene, Axel asks to investigate Mikey's murder, but Inspector Todd refuses to allow it because of his personal ties to Mikey. Using the need for a vacation as a ruse, he decides to head to Beverly Hills to do his own investigating, because that was the last location where Mikey had worked and obtained the bearer bonds.
And that was a little bit of information he told him, working with the girl in Beverly Hills.
Yep.
Right.
Off to Beverly Hills, where we see Axel driving in to a montage of Beverly Hills scenes to the tune of Stirred Up by Patti LaBelle.
That's another good one. Yeah,
Man,
another montage.
Montage after montage. They just don't quit.
Now, that the Beverly Hills montage has been done in so many different movies, though.
Of
Like the
course.
music, and then you see the palm trees,
Right.
and you see the
Fancy stores,
the big
yeah.
houses, the fancy stores, Chanel, and you're like, oh, okay. But it's still worth a montage. Every
No,
movie
it
that
is.
does it. Thank you. I should name my first son Montage.
Montage, yeah.
That's a cool name.
Montage.
That is a good one.
Montage, get in here. And it would take him like forever to get in the room.
There'll be music playing
Yeah,
all
because
the
he's
time.
doing a montage.
Every time he'd have a different walking in song.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's like a boombox, like
Like the-
80s music playing.
Like the teacher would call him to the chalkboard. He had to like, hold on, put his like music on.
Walk up, montage.
Take him 3 minutes.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking like with a monitor. He walks in with a monitor above his head, and there's just a PowerPoint presentation playing
Behind him.
Screens.
all these different pictures or some shit.
With today's technology, I mean, you can slip one of those a projector now onto your iPhones and stuff. You can just play whatever you want behind
Yeah,
you.
you could do that.
Yeah.
I saw this one where the guy was doing that. He had like a fake background. Like I think it was one of those green screens. He was actually like a football game, and he was supposed to be working from home. And he had it look like it was his office. So he had a computer. He was working, but he was actually like a sporting event, and he was using like green screen behind
That's
him.
awesome.
You know what I mean? To fake everybody out.
I mean, they do that now. I think that came in really big vogue when COVID hit.
Yeah, the COVID,
Yeah.
because people were getting tired of seeing the same thing in the background, so
Well,
they would
and-
try stuff.
People were also embarrassed of working in their fucking laundry
That
rooms
too.
or whatever, down in their dingy ass basements.
Hey, hey, hey,
yeah,
hey.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a dingy
Yeah.
basement, right?
Well, I'm not confusing that with a dirty basement.
I like
old
those,
dingy basement.
I like those ones too, where you ever see like they get the filter stuck, and the one guy lives a cat.
Cat,
Just
show
like
me that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, after conning his way into a stay at the Beverly Hotel, he makes his way to the art gallery where he and Mikey's old friend, Jenny Summers, works.
I did like the hotel part where he's like, a hotel in Beverly. How is this a cheaper hotel?
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, it's one of the cheapest in Beverly Hills, and the guy, I guess at the time, was like $235 a night.
It
or
was
something.
$235. Yeah.
Yeah.
They said with inflation, I think it was as of 2019, that would have been like $6 something.
Because the lady there was
Something
kind of
like
telling
that.
him like the
Well,
rooms.
If you
Because
add in Biden's inflation, that's going to be like well over 1,000.
Over 1,000 a night. Yeah. It was a lot. It was definitely a lot more.
But I liked that scene where the lady like didn't want to like let him in the hotel.
Yeah.
He's like, I work for the Rolling Stone magazine,
Yeah.
and all this. Like, he was just like making up lies. He's like, you don't want a black man in your hotel room, and she's like, hold on. And like the guy comes over, he's like, we'll give you the suite,
The
sir.
suite. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good Eddie Murphy part.
There's
Definitely.
actually a fun fact about that. If either of you are going to.
No, go ahead.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
don't
You're
have
already
it.
on it.
So the fun fact about that particular racial part
Mm-hmm.
is that Jerry Bruckheimer, or
Bruck, Jerry, no,
the director,
Bruckheimer.
the other
Steven
guy.
Spielberg,
No, you mentioned it earlier, Dave.
Oh,
uh,
Donnie Simpson.
Donnie
Don Simpson?
The other guy.
Oh, Martin Brest.
That's it.
Yeah.
He didn't want anything racial in this
Yes.
movie
Yeah, I did read that. Mhm.
because of whom we'll get to, the initial people who were considered for this role.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, look, I don't give a shit. I just don't want anything fucking racial into this. This doesn't matter. I'm just trying to tell a real simple story here and get this done. Eddie Murphy, who had at that point made a career
off of doing the stuff that
out of being an incredibly famous black man, not like Red Fox, Richard Pryor.
Yeah, Richard Pryor was kind of, at the same time, he learned a lot of his comedy from him. So he knew that you could push like a racial boundary, and there's something funny about
Right.
doing it. Nothing. He's not meaning anything by it.
Right.
The career's out of it.
So when Eddie Murphy is riffing, just, ad-libbing for these lines, people found it funny.
Oh, yeah.
The directors, the writers, the whomever, the producers found it funny. So they said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Forget what I said. Let's
Just
keep
leave it in. Yeah.
To Zap's fun fact is Eddie Murphy did a lot of this off the cuff.
Yeah.
Where he was just, what would be funny right now is what I'm doing. And
Right.
he did it, which made the movie good, I think.
No, I liked it.
Back to the museum. So Axel Foley makes his way to the museum, meets his old friend Jenny Summers. This is where we meet Serge, Bronson Pinchot,
Yeah, that was great.
who actually carried that part of that role onto
Perfect Strangers.
Perfect Strangers.
Yeah.
Balki Bartakamus.
Would you like a drink? I can make very good.
Yeah, he's like, how much is that piece? Like 130,000. Oh, but it's worth it. And then his voice goes up.
No,
and
get the hell back in here.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I tell you this because I'm telling you the
Yeah.
truth.
I just sold it last week. So Axel Foley meets with Jenny and alerts her of Mikey's death. And we learn of Mikey's involvement with Victor Maitland, the owner of the art gallery.
Bad dude.
Mm-hmm. Immediately, Axel, posing as a flower deliveryman, goes to Maitland's office and questions him about Mikey. Not long into their conversation, he's grabbed, carried out of Victor's office, thrown out of a ground floor window by Victor's bodyguards, and is immediately arrested by the Beverly Hills police. Like they were just waiting for a body to fly through a big plane of glass.
Like, man, look, I got thrown out the window and you're going to arrest me?
Yeah.
And just to make that Maitland like a douche, like you already think he's a douche from the movie, but in real life they said he loathed this movie.
Really?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just like, well, like who would not like this movie, especially if you were in it? Like, how could you look at it and not think it was a great movie? I just watched it yesterday, and this is how many years later, and I thought it was like phenomenal. I'm like,
I just watched it this morning.
Yeah.
And I still think it's phenomenal.
yeah.
I
But
watched
he
it
didn't
this
like
morning and this afternoon.
Yeah.
it. Yeah. He didn't like it. So it makes me like him even less in his character in the movie.
Curious, what didn't he like about it?
It didn't really say, it just said that it was said that he loathed this movie, which disliked.
Well, he's a real asshole.
Yeah.
You're talking about Maitland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The villain.
Yeah, he
So-
was. They did try to be. He was supposed to be like an ex-Nazi drug lord. Like they even threw that in there,
Well,
like Nazi, just to make him more hated. Like
He's British, I think. So I don't know if that has something. I don't know. Like their humor's different. Maybe he didn't get it. I don't know. Like, you know, who knows? I guess I could dig deeper into that and find out.
Look, man, I'm sorry you're not playing Shakespeare or doing whatever, but
Right.
you took the part.
Mhm.
You know, own it.
Right.
Don't hate on the movie that you did.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Maybe the humor part of it. Maybe he was a serious actor and took the part,
he thought it was like
Yeah,
Jean-Luc Picard.
and he didn't
You
know it
had
was
to
going to
play.
be. Didn't know it was going to be comedy in it. I don't know.
He's British though. I mean,
Yep.
It's still
Whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yep.
fuck them all.
So, arrested by the Beverly Hills police. Now, at the police station, which, by the way, resembles a castle or a luxury hotel.
That's nice.
Yeah. That's a hell of a city hall.
They say they filmed that to show like the difference between what
Detroit.
and
Yeah.
Beverly Hills, like
Yeah.
how much the wealth is involved there.
We are introduced at City Hall to Sergeant John Taggart and Detective Billy Rosewood.
Judd Nelson. Or not Judd Nelson. Judge Reinhold.
That's right.
Yeah,
Judge
they were a bunch
Reinhold.
of by the book tight asses.
Judge Reinhold was Billy Rosewood, and John Taggart was Eric Stoltz's father in
Some kind of one.
Some Kind of Wonderful. Thank
Right.
you. After Axel's interrogation and a stern warning from Lieutenant Andrew Bogomil, who was the bad guy from RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was also the bad guy from Total Recall, the OG, not
The one that ran the company?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
RoboCop, another Detroit based.
How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Detroit, what?
Yep.
Stern warning to keep his nose clean while he's in town. Jenny collects him. Jenny then collects him from the police station.
Yeah, because this fooling around shit doesn't work here.
That's right.
Beverly Hills. We don't need your type.
We don't need you out of town cops messing
Yeah.
with our pristine, clean, no caffeine town.
Right.
Because doesn't the one Taggart hits him, right? Or is that
Yeah.
Rosewood?
No, Taggart.
Taggart,
Nailed it.
punches him, and then the main lieutenant guy's
guy
like,
comes over,
"Do you want
yeah.
to press charges?" He's
Yeah,
like, "Man, I
'cause
don't know how the hell you run things here."
because they're all by the book.
Yeah, but he's like,
basically.
"We don't bust other cops, man. I'm
Right.
cool." He's like, "Well, we're by the book, sir."
Yeah.
Bastard.
With Jenny having collected him, he's on his way to his hotel, and we find that Taggart and Rosewood have been trailing Axel. Axel sees this immediately. He orders room service for Taggart and Rosewood to be delivered to them while they sit in their car. And while eating their meal, Axel sneakily stuffs a bunch of bananas into the exhaust pipe of their car.
That he purchased from Damon Wayans.
Yeah.
If you guys
Well,
watched,
he
the
got
movie.
them for free, actually.
Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
true.
Yeah.
That's right. Just take them.
Just take the
Take 'em.
bananas. He played the part that he played on in Living Color.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say,
Girls on, or yeah,
Yeah, was it no?
not girls on film. It was,
Girls on
yeah,
film.
it was Men on Film. Was that
two
what it's
snaps
called?
in a circle.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a raining man.
I give it 2 snaps up. Yeah, It was him and what was the
brother,
other guy?
right?
No, it wasn't his brother. It was
the guy who kind of had a career but didn't.
Bobby, somebody
with a GR, like Grierson or something like that.
could be
That guy.
I'm gonna finger box.
somebody Greer. David Allen Greer.
David Allen Greer.
David Allen Greer.
There you
it
go.
is.
I was going to say David Allen Coe. but
I
that's-
was thinking David Allen Coe.
That's a
That's
country
not
singer.
right, yeah.
That's completely way the hell in the other direction.
Mhm. Still funny.
So, bananas in the exhaust pipe. With bananas in the exhaust pipe, Axel and Jenny leave the hotel and, not surprisingly, Taggart and Rosewood are unable to follow due to car trouble. I mean, you just see this car stalling.
Like
Yeah.
sputtering.
It's air in, air out. If the air can't get out, something's suffocating.
Mm-hmm.
Axel and Jenny make their way to Victor's warehouse, where Axel takes interest in some coffee grounds lying about. While there, two men arrive with a crate in which we find stacks of those German
The
bearer
German
bonds. The two men, with bonds in tow, return to their van and depart. Axel is swift to trail them. Cut scene. Back at the police station, an upset Lieutenant Bogomil assigns Taggart and Rosewood to continue following Axel. Meanwhile, Axel and Jenny follow the two men in the van with the bonds to an import-export warehouse.
Mm.
In that warehouse, Axel maintains his focus on the crate from the van. Posing as an inspector, he cons the security personnel into inspecting the crate he'd been following. Returning to the hotel, he greets Taggart and Rosewood and apologizes for the banana incident.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Axel invites the two to a strip joint to have some drinks and become friendlier with one another. While engaging pleasantries, Axel notices a pair of unsavory guys walking into the strip joint.
Unsavory. I like how you said that. Those are guys with like beards and unkept.
Prototypical 80s bad guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Just come
and as Axel aptly points out, you're in Beverly Hills. It's like 80 degrees outside. Why are these guys wearing long, heavy coats?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they look like the guys in Weird Science. They were like hanging out at the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely. They
Yeah.
really do.
Yep.
These
Bad guys.
With these unsavory guys, something's going to go down, and it's not going to be pleasant. Lo and behold, it's a robbery. But Axel, Taggart, and Rosewood swiftly foil it. When they return to the police station, Axel stands up for the two and explains to the lieutenant that the foiled robbery is all thanks to Taggart and Rosewood.
He said they're like super cops.
Super cops.
Super
yeah.
cops, which was completely ad-libbed.
Mm-hmm.
Despite Axel's best efforts at trying to make Taggart and Rosewood look good, Taggart tells the truth, explaining that it was actually thanks to Axel that the crime had been stopped. Almost immediately, the lieutenant removes Taggart and Rosewood from following Axel.
Mm.
Sadness.
Fun fact on that scene there, Eddie Murphy doesn't, no kind of stimulant or anything like that. And that was the first time that he ever had coffee there. He was really tired on set.
Mm.
I'm like, here, just have some coffee, try coffee. So I guess he finally gave in and had a little bit of coffee, and then he was just energized, and he ad-libbed that whole scene with the super cops.
Mhm.
And
Is that right?
yeah, so he was kind of bouncing. It was the first time, I guess, that he had coffee. He was bouncing off the walls. And
I say good for him.
yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Man, try the coffee. No, I don't want no coffee.
Yeah, I guess he
Man,
was.
take the coffee.
I guess he was no drugs, no stimulants, nothing. Like he would never do anything. But
That's
that was
awesome.
the first thing. Yeah.
Man, my hat goes off to him. Good for him.
Yep.
And you know what? He's had an incredibly successful life. So
Oh my
good
God.
for him.
Yes.
Big time.
Didn't he hang out with what's his face though? Him and his brother Charlie Murphy.
Rick James.
Yeah, didn't they used to hang out with Rick James? What did he do at that party?
Doesn't
Fuck
mean
yo couch.
Yeah, fuck your
Man.
couch. Doesn't mean he was doing anything though. You know what I mean?
I mean, that had to have been great for him to sit back and watch
Just
what was
watch,
going on.
yeah.
Oh man, what an experience!
I know people like that don't partake in that, and they can just hang out.
Yeah,
you
and
know
have
what I
fun.
mean?
Cheers
Like,
to you, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
We were just talking about stuff like that earlier.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
yeah, you were
Sure.
saying. Yep.
So, there are now two new detectives, Foster and McCabe, who are now assigned to follow Axel. And the next morning, the two new cops are delivered room service outside of the hotel in the same fashion Taggart and Rosewood were the day before. They follow Axel to Victor Maitland's house, where Axel is intent to follow Victor. From there, Axel follows Victor from his house, and he in turn is followed by Foster and McCabe as expected. He ends up losing them by running a red light, which is great. Like he waits for it to turn just yellow to red. We call it orange.
Right.
And he zips through traffic, leaving the cops right behind him at the intersection.
That was good.
Maitland, followed by Axel, arrives at his country club.
Yeah, there's always a nice country club in the Beverly Hills movies also.
Big time, yeah.
Posing as a gay guy named Ramon, Axel cons his way into the country club with the need to convey a message to Victor that he just tested positive for herpes simplex 10. Axel makes swift work of Victor's bodyguard, Zach, and confronts Victor with more questions about Mikey's death and Victor's business dealings. Police arrive and swiftly arrest Axel again. Axel, once again, is released from police custody and explains to Lieutenant Bogomil, Taggart, and Rosewood, as well as Foster and McCabe, his firm belief that Victor is a smuggler. In the midst of their discussion, we're introduced to Police Chief Hubbard, who walks in and immediately orders that Axel be escorted out of town the next day. The next day, Victor pays Jenny a visit at the museum, questioning her and inherently threatening her about Axel.
I would like to ask your cop friend if that's a thing anymore, because I know they did that in like the Stallone movie, First Blood.
Yeah.
And in this, where like
escort him to the
escort like the city line or whatever. Like, you're out of town.
Well,
like escort him out.
We
if
can
you have
ask
jurisdiction, or if you're a sheriff, I guess. I don't know.
We can ask him maybe if we can get it edited in to the beginning of the episode.
It sounds like something made up in America. Like, I don't know if you'd be able to take somebody and
not necessarily. Like, you got somebody that you don't want in your jurisdiction. That actually might stick.
I mean, I could see that happening in like Texas, maybe.
I was going to say the Old West.
Yeah.
It's back in the day, it was always, remember in Porky's, like just get across
get them out of town, and the cops can't chase you, stuff like that. But I've
like
never
magical line or something.
Because I remember seeing it in First Blood, and I recall, from this movie, and it's like, how do you just tell somebody like, or we're taking you out of town, you can't come back?
Yeah, I don't know. Find out. Yeah. Matt had a question for you. We're doing Beverly Hills Cop. So we figured. So here, Matt, Matt, we were thinking of you.
What's his name? Foley,
Axel Foley. Yeah, but Matt had a question.
Foley, yeah,
Matt had a question. I was like, Officer Vince will know. So go ahead, Matt.
Okay, so in a lot of these movies, they said in this movie in particular, they said that Axel F was going to be driven out of town and not able to return. And in other movies like Porky's, as they were saying, there's always like, oh, if we make it to the county line, like the police can't chase us anymore. Now, I know the county line thing is out of the question. I know that the police can do that. But is there anything of a police officer? Can they escort somebody out of town and ask them not to return?
Yes. Well, we've had that a couple times where it was ordered by a judge. Like the judge literally said, you are not allowed back in these city limits. And there's been times where we dealt with somebody so much. We have a bridge in our city, and it's when you cross the bridge, it's the next jurisdiction. So we're like, well, we'll take you across the bridge and don't come back in town. Obviously it's not like we're gonna lock them up if they come back, but it's like hopefully they just go over there and don't bother our citizens or us anymore.
So this shit was like Rambo, like where they really were like, okay, here's the bridge, get your ass across, don't come back.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, oh, I'm gonna come back, I don't care,
Exactly. Yeah.
That was funny.
Officer Vince, thank you so much. I gotta tell you, it feels good to be right.
Yeah, Zap said I think they can do that. He was correct.
One way or another, Axel knows that another shipment of smuggled goods is due to arrive today. Rosewood, also known as Billy, has been assigned to collect Axel and drive him out of town. Axel convinces him to collect Jenny at the art gallery with the idea that the three of them making their way to the warehouse where the shipment is to arrive. Finally, Billy relents and the hunt is on.
The hunt is on.
That's right. Damn it, Glenn Fry. When do you stop giving?
It's in your head.
He's still alive, isn't he? Or did he die?
Glenn Fry's dead as fried chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't recall.
Alas. Upon their arrival at the warehouse, Axel and Jenny break in and discover a crate that hasn't yet passed through customs, filled with loose coffee grounds inside. However, under the coffee, they discover several bags of cocaine.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right, because all of the bad guys sneak up on them and catch them off guard. Victor leaves and takes Jenny with him. In the meantime, he orders his henchmen to kill Axel. In a fit of boasting, Zach, the dude Mike from
Mike
Breaking Bad,
Ehrmantraut, yeah, Mike Ehrmantraut,
is the bad bodyguard guy, informs Billy that it was he. Actually, no, let me do that again. Informs Axel that it was he who killed Mikey back in Detroit. Seeing Victor's limousine drive away with only Jenny inside and realizing that Axel has been left behind, Billy makes his way into the warehouse. Billy saves the day by killing one of the bad guys while Axel knocks the other one unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Billy and Axel then make their way to Victor's house, where Taggart arrives shortly thereafter to help. Meanwhile, back at the police station, Lieutenant Bogomil finds the 4 police officers assigned to trail Axel all away from their desks. He has one of the officers that are on duty locate Taggart and Rosewood and finds that they are at Victor's estate.
Mm-hmm. And that was before GPS technology and all that.
Correct.
So they were kind of like...
based on their last call-in or some shit like that.
Well, they were saying it was a satellite-based technology or something like that.
That's fake news.
But it wasn't anything that was out yet.
They didn't have that shit back then.
No.
They didn't have RoboCop technology and that.
Maybe in Beverly Hills.
There's no. Yeah, they might have had caller ID or something back then. Or.
Star 69.
Yeah, it could have been. It was a fancy looking precinct. Thing, so who knows?
Very nice.
But yeah,
Very nice.
I mean, with that kind of money, they were certainly high tech.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, back to Victor's estate, Axel, Taggart, and Rosewood make their way through a barrage of armed security guards at varying locations throughout the grounds as they forge ahead to find Victor and, hopefully, Jenny. Simultaneously, the Beverly Hills police are in hot pursuit to Victor's estate. After a short game of cat and mouse, Axel kills the bad guy, Zach, who had shot his friend Mikey.
Right.
But Axel himself is shot in the arm by Victor in the process.
Why do any kidnap victims, like when they took, why does it always go back to like the big boss's mansion? They always take it. Like it's always the boss never has like a regular.
I think about
like,
that
crib.
too, man. It doesn't make sense. It's never going to end well for you, big boss.
Yeah,
it's never going to end well.
But wouldn't big boss have like a stash house somewhere or somewhere? Be like, hey, why don't you bring him to my like apartment, like
you
the other side of
at your
town,
main place? Because how are you going to talk your way out of that?
Yeah, like a Yankee workshop or some shit.
Right.
Like,
you don't shit where you eat, big boss, man.
It's not like John Wick where they just come clean it all up. You know what I mean?
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just get the bodies out of here, like nothing happened. The neighbor's like, oh, what? Oh, everything all right? Yeah, it's fine. And they're carrying bodies out.
But like, where are we going to find the person they kidnapped? Let's look for the biggest house with like the most expensive looking house in the whole area. And I bet they're there because that's what happens.
Yeah. At that point, it's like, you might as well give up.
Yeah.
I always thought that would be an interesting job.
Like cleanup?
The cleaner.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Wasn't Harvey Keitel?
He was
cleaner
the wolf.
The wolf.
The gray wolf, yeah.
Oh, you sending a wolf?
Uh-oh. There was something I just watched with that, and there was a crew that was it a show or a movie?
Is that about the sports one?
That was that like it was like I think it was a TV show.
Yeah, on HBO or something like that, or
TV show we were watching, and there was a crew that would come out and clean up like you're talking about and get rid of everything, and they do the UV light and make sure there's no. Just basically clean up the crime scene. Yeah.
It's awesome.
There was one about like sports professionals and when they would like mess up or something like that.
Oh,
people
yeah.
would come out, they would send people to like clean up I mean, there wouldn't be like deaths or anything, but like something with
Aaron
drugs
Hernandez.
or.
Yes.
Yeah. But if there were like drugs and stuff involved, they would come in, wipe everything down before like the cops and stuff would come in. They'd get out of there and they'd be like, well, we couldn't find any evidence. He was high. His girlfriend was beat up, but she didn't say anything and we couldn't find anything. So. I
think Darius had like a little story about that we didn't get around to, but I'm going to ask him again about it because I think he was about to get into something about that. And I wanted to ask him, and I forgot. Now you said that, I remember there was something to that. Even in at the college level, we were talking about it. And yeah, I wonder, I'm sure they have something like that. Not on the level of a murder.
No.
But
But on stuff where like kids in college mess up with something. Or,
hush money.
Yeah, like, hey, like they get people to go in there and get shit, and they'd be like, no, we called the cops. The cops were alerted. They came to the scene, and the cops get on there. There was nothing found. We didn't see any evidence, so we're going to have to let them go.
Right.
For those not familiar, David mentioned Darius.
Oh, yeah.
Darius joined us on 2 other podcasts, one being the Vintage Cinema review of Any Given Sunday.
Right.
The other being a wise, knowledgeable man when it came to the Aaron Hernandez story.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Darius was hell of an athlete, still is, kind of like myself.
Right.
It was nice to sit and shoot the shit with a person of my athletic level. Yeah, he's very cool.
He'll come back at some point. We'll do Waterboy. I told him that we do Waterboy.
Nice.
That's the one he wanted to do, and I'm like, let's do something like serious first because I want to get your input on it. But yeah,
you didn't just want to throw him into the comedy,
right?
Yeah, I'm sure he's looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So when last we left Axel, he had been shot in the arm by Victor. In the process, while he was killing Zach, the bad guy. In the meantime, the whole of the Beverly Hills Police Squad, including Lieutenant Bogomil, crashed through the gates of Victor's estate. In a tense scene, Victor is holding Jenny hostage with one arm, while the other hand is holding a gun to her head. Axel can't do a thing to Victor with Jenny in the way. But surprise! Lieutenant Bogomil arrives with gun drawn. Jenny elbows Victor, allowing her to escape his clutches. And Axel and Bogomil swiftly unload a dozen or so bullets into Victor, killing him instantly. Although he did tumble down the stairs.
Yeah. That's what gets me too about...
So not neat. That was 3 seconds that just wasted.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie too, I thought that was... It was fun to watch. It was kind of funny. But like those scenes where like, the bad guys have every sort of like automatic weapon.
Right.
Just like ripping holes like through like... Whoop, boom, 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 boom. And then you got like the 3 cops with like a snub nose 38s. Like pow, pow. Pow, pow.
Right.
And they like somebody gets shot in the arm or like somebody takes a leg shot. Like nothing bad ever happens.
They're shooting at you with like a machine gun. And you know what you mean.
Yeah, like they're just like you see it like ripping holes through the walls and stuff, and they're completely missing.
They miracle miss every time.
Every time, yeah.
Much like stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Or it's like G.I. Joe. Like nobody ever died in G.I. Joe.
Oh, the whole plane blows up and then poof, parachute.
Everybody's out
every time.
Every time. All right. So during the cleanup and debriefing process at Victor's estate, Chief Hubbard arrives, and Lieutenant Bogomil fabricates a believable story for the chief in order to avoid all of the underlying gray areas that were crossed during this whole investigation.
By the book.
This time, Taggart corroborates it, and the chief is content. That night, as Axel is checking out of his hotel, Taggart and Rosewood arrive to pick up Axel's tab on behalf of the Beverly Hills Police Department. Axel gives to Taggart and Rosewood a bathrobe for each of them, which he'd stolen from his room.
How nice.
Nice, yeah.
He actually kept 3 for himself.
That's right.
At the very end, Axel invites the 2 of them out for a farewell drink, which they accept, all departing as friends.
Which they couldn't be friends in the beginning because they're just different people.
Yeah, they had to escort him again to the
border.
The border, yeah. And he was like, "Hey, I got a cool place. We're gonna stop."
Yep.
And then you can tell Taggart, like he kind of likes him now. He's like, we can stop for one beer.
Trust me."
Yeah.
It's like these cool, funny cops like take down like sleazebag, like dirty criminals, like drug dealers, much like Miami Vice,
right?
But Beverly Hills,
Beverly Vice.
Yep.
Hilly Vice.
Yep. And it ends with just a freeze frame of him.
Freeze frame.
Eddie.
Eddie does a lot of a lot of freeze frame endings also.
Yep.
Eddie.
Yes, that's pretty much the end of the movie then. So
yeah, thanks,
Zap.
No, thank you.
Yes, running us through old Beverly Hills.
The pleasure was all yours.
Thank you.
I guess it's time for the
what the
fun facts.
Fun facts. So this movie here was the first of 7 of Eddie Murphy's movies that.
Jesus, I thought you were going to say 7 Beverly Hills Cops.
No,
dude, I know of 3.
No, this is
I thought he was going there too. I was like, I didn't see that.
Rocky 5.
Yeah, no.
1000.
This was the first of 7 of his movies that would open at number 1 at the box office. So
wow,
nice.
That was pretty.
He's kind of like the
pretty
Beatles
good run.
of 80s cinema.
Yep. And what else you guys got?
I don't know, but I can tell you on that topic of Eddie Murphy, of this film's $13 million budget you mentioned,
yep,
$4 million of that went to Eddie Murphy.
Went to him, yep. Yep, that's right. Because it was a last minute thing.
And this is before the concept of those negotiations, who I firmly believe the one who made the biggest press on this was Keanu Reeves when he did The Matrix. Like, he was the one who said, you know what, fuck it. I'll do it for nothing. But I want a percent of the box office. I want a percent of the DVDs. I want a percent of the rentals. I want a percent of this. And he made out like a bandit.
Well, see, that shit makes sense, though. Like, if you read something, you think you got something good, like what he did, like you said, was genius. Like, you know what, don't pay me shit.
Did Nicholson kind of do that on Batman? We were kind of talking about? Yeah.
He did. He definitely did it.
Yeah. He got something.
I'm certainly not going to take that away from Jack on that one. Certainly not. I mean, that was really wise. I think from that podcast that we did on that, they offered him 8, and he said, "Fuck it, I'll do it for 6." But I want a bit of the take on the back end, which again for him turned into some will speculate 50, some will speculate as much as $100 million.
Yeah, it was a lot
for Jack Nicholson for Batman.
Right.
I'm saying like the one that truly pioneered it and made it almost, dare I say, the industry standard was good old Keanu.
Oh, Keanu did,
for The Matrix. Like, so that came out in 2000, and that was the one where he didn't take X million from the gate. He just said, "Fuck it, I'll take 0."
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I want
no money.
He took nothing.
That's right.
I believe in this so much.
Correct.
I'm just gonna wait. Yeah, it makes sense because then you know they're gonna
look. It worked.
Yep.
He's not hurting for money.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it like with sports. Sometimes you say with like contracts with these players, they get their money and then they don't want to play as hard.
That's right.
If you're an actor and you're going into a movie, not to say you're not going to try your best, but maybe you're going to act that much better. I don't know. Like put even more into it.
As a Broncos fan, I say, see Russell Wilson.
Yeah, right.
I think someday when we all get picked up by a big studio to be big actors, I would like to propose that we all just, we've all got day jobs. So let's just forego the salary.
Yeah, no money.
And just say, whatever you do,
right, just
pay us on the back end.
We'll get a cut of the sweatshirts.
Yes.
For the podcast. Yeah.
That's right.
At 1%.
1%, yeah.
Which could add up to a lot. So
this was the second highest grossing film of 1984. Do you know what number 1 it was?
Hold on. Now there's 2 things to that, and I know what you're saying because I read the same thing and I had to fact check, double check, recheck, remix the remix.
Right. It
was the second highest globally.
Worldwide, yes.
It was the first highest domestically.
Worldwide.
But go ahead. From the worldwide perspective, Dave, please tell me, what was the number 1 globally for the year 1984?
Do you know?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
It was Back to the Future.
No, that was 85.
Oh.
But Zap knows, right?
Sure do.
What was it?
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
That's right.
It's a great movie.
Ooh, starring Short Round.
And just the
recently won an Oscar.
Yes, correct. I just started watching that the other night. Actually, guys, have you seen The Whale yet?
No, but I want to see it.
Phenomenal.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, he was fantastic in that.
Yeah, I heard it's supposed to be good. Oh, here's a fun fact. So, Betamax. Do you guys remember Betamax? I don't know if our listeners. I mean, hopefully.
Yeah,
I got this one too. Go for it.
Yeah, it was a small robot.
It set the record for the most rentals sales, I guess, of all time, and that was in the rental release was December of '84. It was at that time. It was still like industry standard or whatever. VHS was out, but this was out, and this holds the record, I guess, for as far as the Betamax videos go.
Yep,
the most money made. Yeah,
it is the all-time highest rented Betamax format movie.
What was the highest Laserdisc?
I want to bet it was Terminator 2.
Yeah, I mean, I probably but I don't know.
I had to guess.
Yeah, I don't even know. Could you rent Laserdiscs back then?
No, I'm just.
You mean sales?
Yeah, sales.
That's a good guess because I would say in the 90s, and that was probably like the one you'd want to see. Like in
Laserdiscs
it didn't last
amazeballs. Like the amount of sound.
Oh yeah,
the depth of sound and just detail. This was basically like a surround sound system on a disc.
Right.
Unbelievable. The amount of audio component they could put into this goddamn thing. It was amazing.
Yeah, and it was all digital, so it didn't degrade
right
like a VHS, and that.
But Matt makes a good point. I don't know if I've ever heard of a means or location from which I could rent a Laserdisc.
Yeah.
You sure as hell could buy them from Suncoast in the Harrisburg East Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could buy them. But I don't know, what were they, to buy, they were like, what, $30-40, weren't they?
They weren't cheap, man.
No.
Not at all.
They were pricey.
Oh, fun fact. Axel Foley could have been Mickey Rourke.
Yes.
But he passed. Sylvester Stallone.
I thought you were going to go with. I thought you were going to say that.
Sylvester Stallone then accepted the role. However, he pulled out not but 2 weeks before shooting was to begin because Paramount thought his rewrite of the script would be too expensive to make.
Well, he wanted just like a really like shoot 'em up type. He didn't want any comedy. He just wanted to be, I'm going to kill you.
He wanted more action and stuff.
Yeah, so like a Rambo.
Did you know like what he was going to do with that then?
I know what happened as a result of it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
He then took that idea of that shoot 'em up and he turned it into the 1986 classic Cobra.
Yep. Yeah, he took all those
with
ideas.
Brigitte Nielsen.
Yep.
He's like, okay, you can make it. He's like, give me those scenes back, all that action stuff.
Yep.
And he went and made that.
Now that's Cobra the movie, not to be confused with Cobra, the terrorist organization determined to rule the world, battling G.I. Joe.
I thought you were talking about Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
With Johnny.
Another villain. Yeah, villain. Or actually, good guys.
He was
Cobra Kai's a good guy.
Yeah. That was that Daniel LaRusso, such a jerk.
To take that a step further, Harrison Ford was offered the role.
I heard that one, yeah.
But he turned it down. Other actors considered included, but were not limited to Richard Pryor, James Caan, and Al
Pacino.
Al Bundy.
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
Yep.
I don't see Al Pacino in this.
No, I couldn't see that. Like I said, the comedy would be
it would have been terrible.
So Eddie Murphy supposedly backed out of Ghostbusters to do this film.
Correct.
Yeah.
He would have been great.
In Ghostbusters.
Oh man, I would have rather seen him in Ghostbusters.
I'm going to just say this now. Eddie Murphy's great in everything. I can only think of one movie of Eddie Murphy's that I didn't like, and it was Norbert, I think it was called.
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah.
I know it exists. I never saw it.
Oh, I seen it on TV a while back because I said I never seen this, and it was like he tried to play the characters. He played a couple different characters, like he did in some of his movies.
Like Big Mama's House.
Yeah, it was not. It was not.
Wait, is Big Mama's House his, or was that the other guys?
No, that was Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese was the first choice to direct.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
He was offered the director's chair and dismissed the concept as too similar to the movie Coogan's Bluff. That was a Clint Eastwood movie.
Now, I didn't catch this during the scene at Matlin's house, but supposedly there was a DeLorean there.
Yeah, parked out front.
Oh, I didn't even notice that because that would have been before Back to the Future.
This is Beverly Hills, bitch.
Yeah,
their doors go like this.
That's true. Yeah, they got all that good stuff.
You know, back to that thing with Ghostbusters, how he backed out of Ghostbusters to do this one. Think about this. So he had a great stint on Saturday Night Live. Like, he's really up and coming. This guy was able to command $4 million to be the lead for this. I mean, that $4 million is, Christ, man, like 30% of the fucking budget.
Big time, yeah.
So he was, if he would have stuck with the Ghostbusters thing, he would have been Winston Zedmore.
Like not even. Well, you wonder if him playing, if he would have outshined it, like, you know.
But they would have rewrote his part, I believe.
Yeah.
For it being
fair.
Eddie Murphy.
That's fair, but understand that he would be competing for
Bill Murray
for top billing with Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd.
But at the time, I think Eddie Murphy was just as big as Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. Yeah, they all played together on Saturday Night Live.
I would have loved this. I mean, obviously, would have loved to see that, and I just wonder.
I think he made the right choice to back off of that as opposed to sharing the spotlight.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
he got to fuck it. I'm the lead. I'm the one. Here I go. Yeah, I say good choice, Eddie.
But Ghostbusters was so much. It was more long. Just ran longer. There was so much more Ghostbusters. There was Ghostbusters cartoon. There was the Ghostbusters. People still dress up as Ghostbusters from the newer movies that came out.
Fun fact. Ghostbusters came out in 1984.
Right.
And what was the number one domestically grossing movie that year?
Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
But he could have been great Ghostbuster if they said, do it, take it, and be successful with it.
Could have been.
Fun fact, Bronson Pinchot he almost didn't want to do this role because it was in Italy, and he didn't want to get up and he didn't want to travel that far. He said it would take a lot of time out. Did you guys read that?
It was in Italy?
Yeah.
The part?
Well, no, he was in Italy.
Oh, he was in Italy. Oh, okay. I was gonna say
because
filmed those parts or something.
Yeah, no.
Wait, you're telling me that he was able to tell the guys like, "Hey, man, you got to roll film here because I got to get back to fucking Italy."
He wanted to take a trip to Florence, Italy, and it was going.
It was breaking.
It was going. Yeah, and he was like, "Well, I have some plane tickets. Like, you guys really want me in this?" Which led to the Balky Bartokomous part, as you mentioned, and that Perfect Strangers ran for 7 seasons.
Love that show.
Due to this. My dad liked that show too.
Oh yeah.
That was great, man. Come on, everybody loved that. So Gilbert Hill played Eddie Murphy's boss back in Detroit.
Yes, he was a real life Detroit homicide detective, and also became a city council president, and later on in life. But there's a documentary on
in real life.
In real life, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a documentary on Netflix. You can find it on Netflix called White Boy Rick.
And great. That's great.
Okay.
And it's about this white boy. He was like 16, 17 years old in Detroit. And
Matthew McConaughey stars in the movie.
That's the actual movie.
Yeah.
This was actually the documentary. So this guy got
Jesus.
This white boy Rick.
A movie isn't enough. Now you got to have a documentary too.
Right. So this white boy Rick got pinched, right, for drugs, selling drugs, drug dealing or whatever, and he got put in jail. And they had just changed this law that basically if you got caught with over a certain amount of weight, you're going to jail for life.
But that's not the kicker to that.
No. Yeah. Well, he went to jail, and basically 17 years old, and they hit him like pretty much with a life sentence. And every time he come up for parole, after laws had changed, people are trying to get him out, and they're but there's like a whole conglomerate of people that were like, we're not letting this guy out, and something would happen, and they just keep him locked up. Well, supposedly this Gilbert R. Hill was kind of involved in that. I guess it was like something to do with this white boy Rick had a lot of dirt on these guys, and they didn't want him getting out.
Was he actually a white boy?
Yeah, he was white boy. They called him white boy Rick.
One of the biggest at like 15, 16 years old was one of the biggest drug pushers in Detroit. Nobody would fuck with him. Like he had his own gang. Like he messed around with one of the other drug dealers. Remember, like it was his girlfriend or something. This like beautiful black lady. Like he was messing with her. She was like in her 30s.
Yeah, it was like the mayor's. It was the mayor's daughter. There was all kinds of stuff that was going on, but they had a vendetta against this guy, I guess, kind of.
But him and his dad pushed drugs for the government,
right?
And then the government ended up putting him in jail for almost a life sentence.
It's a wild documentary.
Wow.
But this guy, this Gil Hill, this came out now. He passed away, so he cannot really defend himself on all this stuff. But there's a guy that was in jail that killed over, I forget how many people. It was like over 30 people he's in prison for.
Not as many as Samuel Little.
Not that many. But this guy that was in jail who has really nothing to gain said, look, this Gilbert Hill had basically came up to me and like, hey, like we need to take this white boy Rick out. He just needs to go away. It's $125,000 and basically do away with him, like kill him. And we need him to shut up. He can't be talking and this and that. So when this guy that was in jail, is Kraft is his last name. When he basically came out and said that and was like, hey, I'm going to let all this information out. Then all of a sudden this guy got paroled. Then now he's out. This white boy Rick, you know what I mean? But he was like, basically, I'm going to release everything on everybody. He was like in jail. He's in jail for life. That guy actually ended up getting out. So this guy that killed 30 people, drug related, was out before.
That'd actually be
White
a good
boy Rick.
Yeah,
that
before
would be
White
a good
Boy
one
Rick.
to do. I wonder if we could get him.
Who's that?
White boy Rick.
He's in Florida now, I think, or doing something. I don't know if he's.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but yeah. Anybody who just listened to Dave and I talk real quick, Zap, you gotta look. It is really, really interesting.
All right,
it's a very cool story.
White boy Rick.
Yeah, the guy's name was Nate Boone Kraft. And you see him in this documentary. This guy talks openly about how he he would take out hits on people, and that was one that he was. But supposedly this Gil Hill was involved in all that. He was like, "Yo, you need to take this guy out, this and that." But he's not around to defend himself. So this is all
right,
basically, yeah.
White boy Rick.
White boy Rick. Check it out.
I'm on it like flies on stank.
Yep.
What we were talking about earlier with the city of Detroit. Most of the scenes were shot in Detroit. And off-duty police officer was hired by Martin Brest and his crew during the filming. So during the filming, this cop, he refused to go to like this housing project that they were filming in because he was like, you guys can go ahead and knock yourselves out. I ain't going in there because I ain't dealing with the shit. Because I don't know if people like knew he was a cop or whatever and would have been like maybe thinking there was like a bust or something like that. But the guy was like, they said he was very helpful with like a lot of like these scenes in the movie showing like what police procedures would be. But there was a lot of places they went where he was like, you know what, you guys go have fun. I'm gonna go.
On your own.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down the street and grab me a burger. Let me know when you're done.
Yeah,
that's how like rough the neighborhoods are there.
It definitely was rough.
Dang.
But
Fun fact. Beverly Hills Cop is the third highest grossing R-rated film of all time.
Wow.
Behind The Exorcist and The Godfather.
There you go.
I forgot The Exorcist was rated R.
But I mean, there's
like today, I think it would be like a PG-13.
some scary shit in there.
Yeah, it probably would be PG-13.
Or
in the 80s, it would have been a PG.
The big hit, Axel F, there were actually 3 synthesizers were needed to record that.
Mm-hmm.
One was a Roland Jupiter 8, a Roland JX3P, and a Yamaha DX7. The song reached number 3 on the Billboard charts.
And number 1 in your heart.
That's it.
And the guy that wrote it, Faltermeyer, he also co-wrote with Glenn Frey for the Heat Is On.
Yeah, they actually said, too, that this VHS copy came out around the same time. I don't remember this, but do you remember a Casio PT-80, a handheld
VHS player?
No, it was a hand. Handheld.
You need big hands for that one.
That'd be impressive. Yeah,
that would be cool at the mall.
Yeah, right. A handheld micro keyboard. I guess it came out around the same time, and these kids were playing on this micro keyboard. This would have been in like 84, 85, I guess. This micro keyboard, they were playing it in class and like in school, and these teachers were like flipping out because, like you were talking about, Beverly Hills Cop came out. Everybody was trying to play that, just playing that theme and stuff. So, yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
Yep, that's pretty much all I got for fun facts. The couple other ones I had, we went over it during the movie about the tracking system. The satellite tracking system at the time was made up. It was made up to advance the plot, but it actually was invented. It was actually out at the time, but the government had it. Like it wasn't. Nobody in the civilian sector was using GPS at that time. You know what I mean? So
I have one. The banana scene, the bananas in the tailpipe, was actually supposed to be potatoes that Axel F stole from the hotel kitchen. But due to time constraints, no scene in the kitchen could be shot, so they did the hotel lobby. There was bananas there.
Oh, nice.
And they turned it into that scene. And I did read that a Beverly Hills Cop 4 was slated to premiere in 2016.
It never happened.
No, since we're in 2023, we haven't seen it yet.
Not yet. So you guys got anything else then for fun facts?
Yeah, I started fingerboxing here. I can't remember the name of that goddamn song. So when we're talking about everybody wanted to play that Axel F, there's another one that has a particular hook to it. It's we all need a something life. We all need a man's touch or a woman's touch.
From a movie?
Glamorous Life?
That's it. Glamorous Life.
Oh, Sheena Easton.
That's it. Correct.
A
glamorous life. Every kid in the world was jumping on the keyboard playing like those correct.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
All right, that's all I got. I'm sorry, man. You just hit like a memory pocket.
Yeah, that's the one.
Glamorous Life was cool.
I couldn't remember what the hell happened yesterday or a week ago, but I can remember shit from decades ago.
Hey, that's what it's all about.
Hey, the 80s made us, man.
That's true.
That's it. So I don't know what we'll be back with next week. Definitely a vintage cinema review, as always. Yeah, thanks for tuning into this one. Definitely one of my favorite Eddie Murphy movies, so I enjoyed it. You guys got anything else in closing?
I got nothing other than get your ass out there and watch this movie.
Yep.
Beverly Hills Cop, and read about White Boy Rick.
Yeah, White
Interesting
Boy Rick.
Story.
Check it out. So find us on Facebook and Instagram at Old Dirty Basement, on TikTok at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. I guess that's it for now, so we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for listening to The Vintage Cinema Review in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We outie 5,000.